want to do is we want to get loosened up, just get the whole body moving to start. We're not going to do any static stretching before we train, before we compete, because that can inhibit performance. Instead, we're going to do dynamic motions. So we're going to do some lunges, we're going to do some balancing, we're going to do lots of reaches to make sure everything's loosened up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go big step forward and then reach back up overhead. And that's going to stretch out a lot of the body. So we're going forward this way, reaching up and back. We're going to do 3 to 5 on each side, reaching back overhead. You're going to get a nice long stretch that's going to loosen up the hip before you would do a goal kick or a punt. Loosening up both sides. 3 to 5 reps each. Right here. Then we're going to turn it around. Instead of going forward and stretching out the front of the body, now we're going to stretch out the back of the body, stretching the hamstrings. We're going to take a step back, reaching down to the ground. Get a nice stretch on those hamstrings as you do this. This will also stretch out the back as well. Again, 3 to 5 reps each. Both sides. It's going to be a nice way to loosen up before the game, before you compete, before you train today with Tom. After we've done both of those, next, we want to stretch out the shoulders even more, reaching overhead. So we're going to lunge to the side and reach up and over. Get a nice stretch through the shoulders, the hips, the knee, as well as the opposite groin. And again, we go both sides. And once we start getting used to it, we want to go in and out of it, stretching, loosening up, getting everything moving. The great thing about this is because it's dynamic, we're getting blood flow, we're getting the heart rate up, we're getting the respiration up. We're having a lot of fun now. Next, we're going to work on some rotation motions, because throwing is a rotation motion. Kicking is a rotation motion. So we're going to loosen up by going and doing a rotational lunge, stepping back diagonal, taking your arms towards that leg. And we're going to do 5 of these guys again. Loosening up the hips, loosening up the groin. A lot of times we as goalies, we train just going forward and back and side to side, so we don't stretch the groin this way, and when we need to, that's how we strain it, so we're going to loosen it up. And because we're doing it dynamically, the muscles are also working, so they're going to be stable too when we go to actually work and train. So that was what we call a same side rotation lunge. The next one we're going to do is the opposite, and now I'm going to take my leg and step across the body. My arms are going to follow. And the great thing for this is not just with kicking, but also with throwing. We're working our trunk, loosening it up so that we can throw harder and then control the motion after. I'm going to switch sides. We're going to do the other side. Again, we're doing 5 on each side here. The great thing about this series is it stretches every single joint, moves every single joint in every direction it has to go. It's not 100% specific to goalies, and that's what we're about to do next, is the even more specific motions for goalies. So these next 3 lunges and balances are going to help you train the mobility and the control of the motion you have to use for goalies. The first one is a forward lunge, reaching down to the floor. I'm going to show you from another view. Lunging forward, reaching down to the floor. Getting in and out of it. We're going to switch sides. Alternating sides. We've got 5 on each. And this right here is working on you getting down to the ground to grab the ball. Picking up a ball with those lunges. And what you can do to subtly tweak it is you can go forward, reach inside the hips. Reaching it inside the hips. You can also reach outside. Sometimes we're not quite in the right position. We got to go outside the legs with these. Now, we've gone with the lunge. Now we're going to go and treat the control. We're going to go into that forward lunge, but the back leg is coming off, meaning you have to balance and control. This is going to give you power. This is going to give you control and stability when you go to grab the ball and you're trying to beat the person to the ball so they can't score a goal on you. Coming back and forth. Next, that's when we're going out to the ball. Now what happens when they try to kick the ball over our head? A lot of times we have to come backwards and jump up overhead, jumping back. To train that, we're going to do a posterior lunge and reach up overhead and back. Get a nice stretch in the core with this, as well as the back and the shoulders. Stepping on both sides. Stepping and reaching. Then, we want to train the stability and the power, so we actually step back, we lift the leg off, and we come up. This right here, this single leg balancing and reaching is really, really good for training the quads, training the glutes to still work, so you can jump up and grab that ball. We're going to do 3 to 5 on each of the legs with this. And then the last one, this is my favorite one, because this is what makes the highlight reel when you're saving goals. When you're diving across to get the ball. When you're diving across to get the ball, this is that beautiful moment for goalies when you get to see them fully stretched and reaching for the ball. So we're going to do a side lunge, reach up and overhead, and come back. And we're going to do 3 to 5 of these each side and reaching. And then what we do here, we get the motion in the side, we get the motion in the arms. We're loading this leg, the stepping leg, so that way it's strong and ready to push off. And now we're going to go to that last challenge. You probably knew this was coming after the first two. Now we're going to go on to that leg, lunging and balancing and coming up. And this is training that jumping ability to stretch out and reach and dive for the ball when it's on the side of the goalie. We do 3 to 5 of these, and then we're going to go to the other side as well. We'll make sure we train both sides.
Nice, guys. Let it work. Good work, guys.
And this is a great warm-up to do. It gets you moving. It gets the heart rate up. I'm already sweating, and the only thing we haven't done is get onto the ground yet.